G'day folks, it's Tristan here from the Fleurieu sound map. I'm bringing you another episode of one of my video blogs which documents a road trip and site recordings which I've made on that road trip, which will later turn up on the Fleurieu sound map. The site recordings that I'll be talking about in this episode are already up on the Fleurieu sound map. If you follow the links in the description of this video, you'll be able to find these site recordings and further information about them. So I visited three sites primarily: Springmount, the Glacier Rock at Inman Valley, and lastly Normanville Beach and the Bungala River. First stop was the region of Springmount. First recording that I made was when I turned up Springmount Road, and I was gradually climbing in elevation, making my way up the hill, and I found this paddock to the side of the road full of sheep. Would have been a couple of hundred sheep carrying on and doing their thing, so I made a recording there. After making this recording at the side of the road, I continued up Springmount Road, more paddocks and sort of lush pastoral valleys. Came up to a plateau, looking out onto a really stunning panoramic view of the valleys and the hills, looking out to the west. I then turned south on Mount Road, and the landscape changed quite dramatically. Before me was the Springmount Conservation Park, which is a really wonderful area of native vegetation, mostly consisting of wattles and stringy bark eucalypts. As I walked up the track, I could hear and see a couple of currawongs sort of taking off before me and making their way into the vegetation. Rosellas, little scrub wrens, finches. Didn't hear them so much on the recording that I made, which was off a little side track. The sounds that characterise this particular recording that I made, the varying intensities and densities of the wind shearing, making its way through the trees. A really spacious and atmospheric recording. Off to the side of the road, there were these incredibly tall eucalypt trees just shooting up into the sky, and similar to the previous recording, the sound of the wind again characterizing the environment as it sheared through the trees and around the area. Another really atmospheric recording. Continued on Mount Road, and as you make your way down to Inman Valley, there's a section of the road called the Devil's Backbone, and there's a couple of signs indicating how treacherous the decline is on the road. I mounted my phone to the dashboard and shot a video driving down this hill, I guess to visually emphasize how steep the drop is. So I came down to Inman Valley and made a series of recordings at the Glacier Rock. Decided I would finish up the road trip by going down to Normanville Beach and making a couple of stereo recordings. by the ocean and around the Bungala River where it empties out into the ocean. I made a couple of recordings, one on the beach and one just behind the dunes next to the Bungala River, followed by hydrophone recording in the Bungala. So that wraps up this installment of the video blog. Thanks for tuning in and having a listen to these recordings, these excerpts of the recordings. Longer versions of these recordings, of course, are up on the Fleurieu sound map right now, so please go and check them out and check out some other sites.